steps, walking on leash and touching the target hand and things like that. Then we bring them into the room where there's more distractions and there's more trainers doing the work. This particular dog right here, he's learning how to open the refrigerator. We teach them how to tug on things, which is a very big thing for them to do, because tugging can lead to opening doors, retrieving wheelchairs that roll away. So it's a real good behavior for the dogs to learn, and most dogs like it.
The fastest dog is the greyhound, which can run up to 40 miles per hour or 63 kilometers per hour.
So I know you train the dogs. What are your other responsibilities towards the animals, besides matching them up to recipients?
Well, we need to make sure that they're in good health at all times, because learning depends on the whole dog. We make sure that their ears are taken care of, their teeth are taken care of. So there's a lot more that goes into it than the dog actually getting out and training. You have to have a good dog that's in good health and good shape. It's just like people. If you don't feel good, you're not going to be able to learn something as quick, as well as you could if you were in really tip-top shape. The recipient actually comes and works here with the dog for 3 days before it's moved into their home. And the first day, we talk about nothing but grooming and maintenance of the dog and how to take care of the dog.
So it's also the recipient's responsibility to keep the dog conditioned to do the right things.
Yes, we teach them to become dog trainers. We want them to take on the responsibility that this is a valuable animal and they have to continue working with it.
Dogs respond well to rewards, just like you and me.
Anytime you want to train a dog or any animal, you always want to start out in a distraction-free area where you can keep their attention on you and get them to start paying attention. Come here, sweetie.
There's where I want you. Well, I noticed you put a leash on. Is it easier to train the dog if it has a leash on rather than without?
Normally, when I first get them conditioned here, I will start where the leash is not completely on, and I just let them freely walk by my side. The next thing I'll do is put the leash on them, and you'll notice that if she walks too far ahead of me, good girl, I don't jerk her back. I just stop, and I just take a couple of steps back, and I will click right here where she comes to a loose leash and she's right by my side.
How long does it usually take for a dog to get used to walking beside the chair?
It usually doesn't take very long, because if we have a dog whose temperament is really, really scared of the chair, then that may be a dog that we shouldn't keep. Let's go this way.
So it's constant reinforcement, and it's also patience.
Much patience.
That's necessary.
Much patience. If you ever find yourself losing patience while you're training, you need to stop. Or if you don't feel good, you need to stop. Because the animal can read that, and you will find that animal will not work that well that day. It knows something's going on and something's wrong. So you have to make sure that you are feeling good and in a good mood when you start out working with your dog. Good girl.
Do you have to work well with animals to train dogs?
Yes, you have to really like animals and try to understand the behavior of an animal. Animals don't think like people, so you have to really understand how they think.
So would it be smart for people who want to train dogs to take animal behavior courses?
Yes, some of our best trainers have been people who have taken psychology courses. It just gives them a good understanding of human behavior and also animal behavior. So any of that you can read about and learn from, it's going to make you a better animal trainer.
When you started, did you start with animal behavior classes, or did you just start working with the dogs?
I started working with the dogs. We had a little pet dog we got, and we wanted it to be a good house dog, so we just enrolled into a basic obedience course. I learned from that on how to teach the basic things.
Do you read a lot of books?
Yes, I read a lot of information that deals with dog training, working with people with disabilities, about different disabilities, and what it takes for that person to be able to live each day.
How do you use a computer in your work?
A lot of our people who have dogs have computers with email addresses. If they're having a problem with their dog, we can write out the instructions on what we want them to do, and they can have it right there and reread it every time they want to look up the information on what we've given them, instead of just a phone conversation where they may forget something that we've told them before.
Seems like a very demanding job.
It is very demanding. My particular part of the job is not only to initially pick the dogs and start them out on the training, but also to interview applicants for these dogs, match the dog to the applicant. It's a lot of physical to it. So anybody that gets into this has to be willing to put in a lot of time and effort, and it takes a lot of patience.
If I want to be a dog trainer, what should I do?
You need to have a love for working with the animal, and it helps to have a dog to work with. Go to the library and check out all the information you can about training dogs, and there's classes that teach dog training, and just continue to educate yourself that way. In fact, people think I don't have a job. They think, well, you're playing with all these dogs all day long. This is really not work, but it is work, but it's fun work.
Well, Angie, I had no idea how demanding it was being a dog trainer. We really learned a lot. I want to thank you for sharing your dogs with us.
Thanks for coming.
Time to wake up. I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Don't forget, you've got a job to do today.
Hey, Mom. I got the job. Thanks.
Got the job. Welcome aboard.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
That's right. Go Goodwill.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
In show business, connections matter. They do for our planet, too. Every plant, animal, and its habitat is connected. But we're losing the variety of life on our planet at 1,000 times the natural rate, which means we could end up with a pretty empty planet. Together, we can help reverse this by supporting Fauna and Flora International, protecting wildlife and wild places. It's a role we all have to play.
Hey, Mom. Did you take your medicine?
Oh, gosh, I forgot.
Her nurse,
Your claim number?
her personal assistant,
Let me just grab a...
her housekeeper, her cook, her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Enjoy the dog trainer like I did. I thought it was really neat how she used food to reinforce the positive behaviors that she wanted. Jeff, we need to close the show. And also how she trained the dog, and she also trained the people who would receive the dogs. That was neat. Jeff, we need to close the show.
Man, what is it, man? I'm basing a turkey in there.
We need to close the show, Jeff.
Oh, man. Well, I learned 3 things today, man. Numero uno, I learned that it's called photograph. Numero 2-0, sometimes a photographer has to deal with hair and makeup. And numero 3-0, I'm out of here, man. Hasta la vista, pepperoni pizza. She ain't nothing but a hound dog.
what I watch.
Welcome to Tomorrow Today. This week, success in deciphering the flight of birds. The CanSat competition gets young minds involved in space engineering. The Da Vinci surgical robot demonstrates its hidden talents. And Saturn's secrets revealed. But first, in the next 5 years, 3D interfaces like those in the movies will let you interact with 3D holograms of your friends in real time. Movies and TVs are already moving to 3D, and as 3D and holographic cameras get more sophisticated and miniaturized to fit into your cell phones, you'll be able to interact with photos, browse the web, and chat with your friends in entirely new ways. Scientists are working to improve video chat to become holography chat, or 3D telepresence. The technique uses light beams scattered from objects and reconstructs a picture of that object, a similar technique to the one human eyes use to visualize our surroundings. The European Space Agency has released an animated map of Earth's gravity, showing that, gravitationally, our planet is shaped more like a potato than a sphere. Called the geoid, the map illustrates in unprecedented detail the Earth's surface, based solely on the variations of gravitational pull that exist from pole to pole. The scientific term geoid describes the surface of the world's oceans shaped only by gravity and excluding tides and currents. Because the forces of gravity on Earth vary in accordance with the distribution of mass beneath the Earth's surface, the shape of the map shows an unconventional view with areas of more gravity in yellow and those with less in blue. China boasts a kind of robot capable of detecting radiation and harmful chemicals in special circumstances. It's similar to the ones used in cleaning up and repairing the quake-damaged Fukushima nuclear reactors. Measuring 88 centimetres in height and weighing 30 kilos, the robot is capable of climbing up slopes with an incline of up to 60 degrees, wading through water, going downstairs and taking sharp turns, and measuring radiation in earthquake debris. It's the 5th generation of such a robot developed last year in the Robot Sensor and Control Laboratory of Southeast University. The first was developed in 2007. The robots were used by the anti-terrorism units in the 2008 Beijing Olympics and Shanghai Expo 2010. The robot can also locate radioactive sources and transmit radiation volume to the operator in real time, while it can pick up small radioactive sources and put them in its lead box. The robot is capable of detecting radiation and chemicals in complicated circumstances. It's chilly in the Antarctic, even in the summer, but for your average daily penguin, life appears to be pretty good. 15 of the birds were recruited by scientists from Japan's National Institute of Polar Research to become cameramen, or camera penguins, and to provide a bird's eye view into their mysterious world beneath the ice, where the Adelie spend much of their lives. The cameras were programmed to switch on automatically when the penguins entered the water and to shoot continuously for 90 minutes. The researchers managed to retrieve the cameras, which they say produced sufficient video to shed light on the birds' feeding and socializing habits in their natural environment. They say that while the cameras may have been uncomfortable for the birds, no penguins were injured during the experiment. Coming up next, artificial birds.
always seen No No on TV, and I always wondered if it worked. And it's definitely, I can see what everybody talks about now.
It's not a razor. It's not a laser. It's No No from Radiancy, the #1 hair removal system in the world.
It's absolutely no pain.
Can't believe the difference, Al. It's almost hair-free.
No No gives you no hair with no pain.
Well, I saw it on TV and they said it was painless, right? I didn't really believe it, but now that I'm trying it, it feels completely painless.
And now, No No is better than ever. Introducing the new No No Pro. It's up to 35% more powerful. Imagine never having to shave again.
I like a close shave. Absolutely. And this is better than that. I mean, it's gone.
No more facial hair. No more embarrassment.
I've always been self-conscious of my hairline, so putting my hair back, this will be perfect for me.
And for that man in your life, there's No No for him too.
It looks like just like you've got a fresh wax, but like you don't have to go through all the pain.
Call now, and we'll send you the cordless No No Pro in your choice of colors. Featuring an LCD display, it comes with up to 5 treatment levels. Plus, we'll include everything you need to get rid of your unwanted hair. A set of thermocon tips, specially designed for your face and body. A buffer pad to exfoliate and polish your skin. Plus, act now, and we'll send you the No No travel case as a free gift. And get this, you can try No No risk-free for not 30 days, but 60 days with our triple guarantee. If you are not 100% satisfied, return it and we'll refund the purchase price, refund the shipping, and even pay the return postage. Try No No risk-free today.
I need to get myself one of these right now.
Absolutely.
For your 60-day trial, go to nonopro.com or call 1-800-998-9380. That's 1-800-998-9380.
Just imagine, you're riding your very own electric scooter in just a few days from now. Because with our easy and fast credit approval, you could be approved right over the phone today. And when you call today and order your new scooter, we'll give you free shipping, a free 1-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, and a free cup holder too. That's $350 worth of freebies you're going to get when you call now.
1-800-453-4127, 1-800-453-4127.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
It's one of man's oldest dreams, to be able to fly like a bird. The German design and innovation company Festo says it has succeeded in deciphering the flight of birds with a flying robotic model seagull that can take off, fly and land autonomously. Modelled on the herring gull, the so-called smart bird gets its aerodynamic agility from wings spanning 2 meters that not only beat up and down, but twist like a real bird. The head of Festo's bionic learning network, Marcus Fisher, said SmartBird can take off, fly and land without assistance. He says aerodynamics and agility are the key secrets.
So we'd learn from the birds how to move the wing, and that is very positive to use this active torsion. And the second thing was that birds are very energy efficient, so SmartBird is really a lightweight structure. It's all carbon fiber and it's 450 grams and 2 meters is the span width.
An active articulated torsional drive unit gives the bird's wings propulsion and lift. A flight control unit in its bendable body and tail allow the smart bird to also glide without flapping. The lifelike gull sends flight data to a remote controller who can make adjustments to torsion control in mid-flight. The bird can also convey such information as battery charge and power consumption. The lightweight Smartbird was created with minimal materials to make it resource and energy efficient, according to Fisher.
So we can use it within the bionic learning network that we will learn a lot of lightweight structure and even function integration within the company Festo. We are dealing with automation, and we think to learn from the birds is really interesting because energy efficiency gets more and more important.
Festo plan to use the device internally for research, but believe it has industrial applications.
So at the first time we'd like to use it for our own in our development department to make lightweight structures and even to use it more the air more efficiently. And the second thing is that we'd like to try or to make more lightweight structures in the field of automation.
Festo have tested the Smartbird at the company's headquarters in southern Germany and in a more natural habitat for seagulls on the Baltic coast. The company's bionic learning network has created robotic creatures before, including a penguin and a jellyfish, to help it develop more efficient designs in automation for industry. The company says principles from nature provide fresh impulse for technology and industrial applications. With Smartbird, Festo says it has succeeded for the first time in deciphering the flight of birds and creating an energy-efficient technical adaptation of this model from nature. Canoeists training in the north of England for next year's Olympic Games will be assisted by an invention more than 2,000 years old. Water levels in their training facility at the Tees Barrage International Whitewater Course will be maintained by pumps invented by the Greek mathematician and engineer Archimedes, a design essentially unchanged since 200 years BC. But for the first time ever on the same canoe course, Archimedes screws will be used as both pumps and generators, keeping the levels on the course at the desired height and generating electricity when they're not pumping. Turning an Archimedes screw pump into a generator involves reversing the process. Instead of powering the screw to raise water up, gravity is used to pull water through the screw and turn a generator.
So this presents a unique opportunity to offer equipment which would A, run the course when they need it to pump, but B, generate electricity to make the course more sustainable, because it can actually generate surplus of electricity over and above the requirements to run as a course, so to maintain the course on an ongoing basis.
The equipment being installed includes four 3.1 metre diameter, 13 metre long Archimedean screw pump generators, each weighing over 30 tonnes.
It's unique. It's the only one that certainly that we're of in the world where Archimedes screws like this are being used for both pumping and generation.
When conditions permit, the environmentally friendly screws will also use excess river water to generate more than 130 kilowatts each, making the course sustainable in energy terms.
The idea is that the power that we generate will offset the energy that we'll use when we need to pump water. So when they run the whitewater raft course and we need to raise water from the lower level to the upper level, we've hopefully got enough energy in the bank from the generation to make the overall scheme energy neutral.
The project forms part of a multi-million-pound upgrade of the Tees Barrage whitewater course, which involves redesigning the main course, building a second, shorter course, and installing the screws to create guaranteed conditions for canoeists and other whitewater sports activities. Next, satellite in a can.
Do you toss and turn, wake up with back pain? If so, call now. The Sleep Number bed supports you with a cushion of air that conforms to your body for more proper spinal alignment and better sleep.
Before I had my Sleep Number bed, I just had a hard time getting up because I had been tossing and turning all night. Now with my Sleep Number bed, I'm able to sleep through the night and I wake up refreshed.
Call or click now for a free $50 savings card and catalog. It's the perfect bed for couples because you adjust each side of the bed to your Sleep Number setting. The Sleep Number bed is the bed clinically proven to reduce back pain, and 93% of participants reported back pain relief. Plus, it costs about the same as an innerspring, yet lasts twice as long. So if you want to sleep better or find relief from back pain, call now.
Call 1-800-382-9779 or click now for your free $50 savings card and catalog with price list. That's 1-800-382-9779 or click now for your free $50 savings card and catalog.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it. If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Citrus is a part of California's history and landscape, but a deadly plant disease called Huanglongbing, or HLB, has been detected in California, and will kill our citrus trees unless we work together. Here's what you can do. Inspect your trees monthly for signs of HLB and the Asian citrus psyllid, the insect that spreads the disease. Let agriculture officials inspect your trees and do not remove citrus plants or plant material off your property because you could transport the pest or disease. Learn more at californiacitrusthreat.org.
Andoya rocket-based Norway is the home of the first European CanSat competition. What's the goal of this competition? To design a satellite that must fit into a soda can. It is a project organised by the European Space Agency that brings together teams of high school students from all over Europe. With this project, ESA aims to inspire young people to pursue careers in the field of science.
We have in our strategy a general objective, which is to support the efforts made at European level to attract more students towards the so-called STEM areas, so science, technology, engineering and mathematics field. And this is because Europe needs people working more in this domain to be more competitive. There is of course an interest for the agency to have more students that are attracted and work in the space domain, because these are the future workforce that will support ESA programs.
For the ESA, it's important that students develop their own space project from the initial idea up to the actual launch of their satellite. Each team in the CanSat competition has two mission objectives. The first is to measure the temperature, air pressure and position during the flight and landing of their satellites, and the second is chosen by each team and is unique to the satellite they design.
The most exciting and the most challenging is what we call the second mission, where the students have to, on their own, create and design and build instruments and experiments.
The students got the idea of trying to do a sort of challenge themselves to let the CANSAT drop quite fast and then make an airbag mechanism to inflate the airbag and try to let it land soft on the airbag so it would survive the landing.
Once the satellites are ready, the teams make their way to the launch pad and get ready for the moment they've all been waiting for. The launch procedure for the little rockets is the same as for a real rocket launch.
10, 9.
There is a real countdown with a sounding balloon to check the weather conditions for the launch and a number of security measures to follow.
1, fire.
As the rockets reach for the heavens, the teams eagerly collect the data from the flights. Afterwards, each team presents the results of their experiments at a debriefing. The British team won this first CANSAT competition, but as in sport, the main importance was to participate.
The 10 teams have impressed all of us with their efforts and their creativity and the way they have run this competition. So in my opinion and on behalf of all the involved staff at the rocket range, we think they are all winners.
The ESA wants to keep stimulating students to choose the path of science and engineering. Projects such as CANSAT are central to that purpose.
Because we believe that learning by doing is the best way to attract people towards a certain area.
It may not soar the way Leonardo da Vinci would have intended, but the paper plane built using Leonardo's robotic namesake is impressive nonetheless. Dr. James Porter, Director of Surgical Robotics at the Swedish Medical Center in Seattle, recently demonstrated the precision and dexterity of the Da Vinci surgical robot by making the tiny plane. Video released by the medical center shows the surgeon using a console to control two robotic arms to fold a piece of paper into an aeroplane the size of a US penny. Once complete, Dr. Porter attempts to launch the tiny plane. The experiment demonstrates the precision with which a surgeon can perform delicate surgery using the robot. The Da Vinci allows a surgeon to perform small incisions in a confined space during complicated surgical procedures. Dr. Porter says the Da Vinci surgical robot also offers better visibility, with 3D vision allowing surgeons to see structures that can't normally be seen with the naked eye.
Robotic-assisted surgery is the use of a robot to allow the surgeon to perform the procedure through small incisions instead of a large incision. It allows you to do things with the instruments that you really can't do with your own hand, and you can do them in a very small space. With 3D vision, which is magnified, we can see structures in the abdomen or in the pelvis that you just can't see with your own eyes or with laparoscopic surgery. The robot eliminates any tremor the surgeon may have, so that means the movements are more precise, they're more fluid, and they're going to be less traumatic to the tissues. The procedure is performed by the surgeon sitting at a console and controlling the robotic instruments with finger controllers, and the surgeon's motions are transmitted via the robot to the patient to perform the operations. So better visibility, less trauma, more precision, better outcomes for our patients. It's not just the surgeon that makes robotic surgery happen. It's a team that we're building here at Swedish, and our experience is really what makes that work.
Next, Saturn's secrets revealed.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million bucks. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know. Come alive with the forest. The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
If you've served in the military, certain habits may be hard to shake. For reintegration and adjustment issues, big, small, and everything in between, visit EasterSealsDixonCenter.org.
Jones, 0326, here to make a deposit.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
In January 2005, a small European space probe left its mothership and landed on Saturn's largest moon, Titan. It was an immense technical achievement, the first ever landing in the outer solar system, a magical moment for everyone.
When I first saw the images from Huygens and the river-like structures on the surface, I thought, ah, it's magic, wonderful, thank you, God.
At first I thought we were seeing views of Mars. I said remove that picture, but then I was told it was Titan. The emotion around us was very strong. We were so excited that it took us many weeks to recover. But it's an experience I wish that many young people and astronomers will live themselves one day. 6 years on, the joint ESA-NASA mission has opened up a whole new window on the Saturn system, offering remarkable discoveries about its rings, about Titan and the planet's 60 or so moons.
If we started with a small book, a little novella that was about Saturn, in the end we will have 100 books maybe, all of the different aspects of the Saturn system. But equally well, there will be books written about the Earth and books written about Mars, where the information will also be used. There is a lot more to come.
Well, that's it today for tomorrow, as today becomes yesterday and tomorrow today. Goodbye.
Coming up on this week's edition of Teen Kids News.
The Little Mermaid has certainly made a big splash on Broadway. I got to meet 2 of its cast.
They're teens at the top of their game, and their game is pool. We'll go to the World Championships.
They called it the ghost ship of World War II. I'll explain why. That and more next on Teen Kids News.
Welcome to Teen Kids News. I'm Wanza.
And I'm Jessica. When it comes to history, it's one thing to be able to read about it in a book. It's something else to be able to actually see and touch it. That's exactly what you can do at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. Permanently docked in New York's Hudson River, with the city's remarkable skyline as its backdrop. The Intrepid is the largest naval museum in the world. The Intrepid is more than just an aircraft carrier. It's a naval legend. December 7th, 1941. Japanese planes attacked the U.S. fleet anchored at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared war against Germany and Japan. As soon as construction on the USS Intrepid was completed, the carrier was sent to fight in the Pacific. The ship is huge, longer than 3 football fields. Its 9 decks were home to a crew of more than 3,000 men. The USS Intrepid took part in some of the most important naval battles of World War II, including Okinawa and Leyte Gulf. During the war, the ship was hit by a torpedo, by 7 bombs, and 5 kamikaze attacks.
So what was a kamikaze? Kamikaze was a kind of Japanese special attack. Japanese pilots would intentionally try to crash their airplanes into Allied ships. Often the Japanese planes were filled with bombs or fuel, so if they did hit their target, it did a lot of damage to the ship and killed a lot of sailors as a result.
But the USS Intrepid was true to her name. Regardless of what the enemy threw at her, the carrier and her crew never gave up.
Well, they say that the Japanese called the Intrepid the ghost ship because no matter how many times she got hit by kamikazes or torpedo attacks, she was repaired and just came back to fight again.
With the help of a number of the museum staff, I got an amazing tour of the great ship.
The whole point of the Intrepid was to be a floating airfield, so they needed a place to keep the planes, and that's where we're standing now in the hangar deck. So this is the biggest open space inside the ship, and the Intrepid could hold anywhere from about 80 to 100 aircraft when the ship was built during World War II.
The ship had 4 propellers. This is one of them. It weighs 15 tons. That's the weight of about 10 cars.
So what's this area called? We are walking into the forecastle.
Okay, and that's a strange name. Why is it called that?
Oh, forecastle is really a shortening of the word forecastle, and that's basically an old-fashioned name for the forward part of the ship.
This is cool.
Yeah, this is a cool space. This is the anchor chain room at the very, very front of the Intrepid. And as you can see, these are the anchor chains. The Intrepid has 2 anchors, and they're both still on the front of the ship. You can see them outside.
So this is a big chain.
Yeah, this is a serious chain. Each link of this chain weighs about 150 pounds.
In the forecastle, you could see graffiti drawn by sailors who had time on their hands. After all, this wasn't just where they worked, it was their home.
Well, as you can see, we've got beds here and dressers and things. This is where the junior officers on the Intrepid slept.
Oh, okay.
So these are actually much better lodging areas than some of the other parts of the ship.
Oh, really?
These were officers, so they had a little more space for their stuff.
It needs a mattress. When we return, I'll tell you how the USS Intrepid was saved from being turned into scrap metal. Mom!
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Mom! It's an emergency. What do you do? When in doubt, dial it out. 911. Don't hesitate. Just make the call. 911 will help you with the rest. Seconds count, so dial it out. 911. Not sure what to do? It's okay. All you need to do is call. 911 will help determine what to do next. Remember, when in doubt, dial it out.
After its long and distinguished career, the Intrepid was retired from the Navy in 1974. The noble ship was going to be demolished.
The person who saved the Intrepid was a man named Zachary Fisher, and he was a philanthropist and a real estate developer here in New York. And he really had wanted to serve during World War II, but was not able to, so he always had a strong commitment to military families. So when he heard that the Intrepid was going to be scrapped, he orchestrated a campaign to save the ship and turn it into a museum.
More than 700,000 people visit the Intrepid each year, including some of the sailors who used to call it home.
Having served on it, I never thought I would see it again, and here it is now, back in my hometown, and it's going to be a permanent part of the landscape here. It was just great.
When Mike sailed on the Intrepid in the 1950s, he played a life-saving role.
I belonged to the Hilo Gang. Our job was sea rescue of pilots that crashed into the sea while trying to land and take off from Intrepid.
Mike's rescue helicopter is now an exhibit on the hangar deck. It even has his name on it. So, what's it like to live on an aircraft carrier?
It's a floating city. I mean, we had a tailor shop, we had a candy shop, we had an ice cream shop, we had a souvenir shop, anything you think of.
A recent addition to the museum is the Explorium. It allows you to get hands-on with history.
So every single piece here is designed to be played with, to touch, to handle some way. Well, let me introduce you to our cockpit simulator. You want to hop in?
Yes.
All right, see? Everything you can hop in here. So the best line you want to follow is right along there between the two different colored rings. Now, the pilots that would fly these type of aircrafts and try and land on an aircraft carrier described as trying to land an airplane on a postage stamp in the middle of the ocean. It's a difficult one.
I need some practice.
Being a 40,000-ton aircraft carrier, you couldn't always get really close to docks and really close into the harbors. So we throw a cargo net over the side of the ship, then I could just climb up and down and head on to shore using some different smaller boats.
And now I can join the Navy. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be in a lifeboat, this gives you a mild clue.
Well, this is actually kind of a miniature version of the boats you would have on the ship.
Oh, wow.
Now, here we can maybe fit about 4 people, but the actual whale boats that would have been on the Intrepid would hold about 40 crew members at a time.
Oh,
But
wow.
this gives you a good experience of what it'd be like out on the water.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the 7 seas. The Explorium even has a replica of a space capsule you can climb into.
Now, normally when these space capsules return to Earth, they would land in the ocean. It would be the Intrepid's job to go out and find exactly where their location is in the ocean and rescue both the astronauts and recover the capsule and bring it aboard the ship.
Blast off! There's lots more you can do in the Explorium, like sitting at the controls of a helicopter, or find out how challenging it is to do simple tasks wearing clunky astronaut's gloves. But don't forget to check out the rest of the ship. So where are we now?
This is one of the Intrepid's ready rooms. The Intrepid had a few rooms like this, and this is where the pilots would get briefed on their missions. So the pilots had nice, comfy chairs to wait in. They had spaces for all of their books.
Well, 730 approach, check-in is 1.2, cleared downwind port beam heading 042.
And these are some of the first rooms that were air-conditioned on the Intrepid, so the pilots could wait in comfort.
Coming up next, fasten your seatbelts. I'm going to take you on a trip back in time when Teen Kids News continues.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Volunteering doesn't have to be a chore.
There is no better feeling than helping somebody else.
It can really open up your heart to new things. Are you a young volunteer making a difference? Apply for the Prudential Spirit of Community Award. Visit spirit.prudential.com.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. School's out for summer. School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place. To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I just fell on the ground.
Buddy, you okay? You call 911. Here, give me a hand. If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, remember the 2 simple steps of hands-only CPR. First, call 911. Next, place your hands in the center of the chest and push hard and fast until help arrives.
And remember to push to the beat of Staying Alive.
Looks like the fan made it. Disco can save lives.
A typical airport runway is about 10,000 feet long. On the Intrepid, planes only had 250 feet of runway to land on.
Well, this is the flight deck, and this is where all the air operations happened, all the takeoffs and all the landings.
This ship may look huge, but it seems pretty short if you're trying to get enough speed to take off. The Intrepid was the first aircraft carrier to use steam catapults, which could accelerate a plane to 150 miles per hour in only 2 seconds. And landings required special equipment too.
You lower your hook and you come in, and the wires are stretched across the back of the aircraft carrier's deck, and you try to catch one of those and it'll stop you instantly.
Today, the flight deck proudly hosts a number of interesting aircraft from around the world.
Ah, this one. This is the F-14 Tomcat. And
Yeah.
this was really made famous when Tom Cruise starred in the movie Top Gun.
Yeah.
So a lot of people can recognize the F-14.
Yes.
It's very distinctive. It has the swing wing. The wings swing back to fly fast and swing forward to fly slow and land.
It's like a bird.
Yeah.
So what is this thing for?
A lot of people ask that question. That's the in-flight refueling probe. Another airplane called the tanker.
Yeah.
You come meet up with it. It drops a hose in a basket, and you fly that probe into the basket. It's like filling up with gas without stopping.
Okay, that's awesome.
These are our 2 Coast Guard helicopters. This is the HH-52 from the 1980s time period, and this is its older sister. This helicopter goes all the way back to the 1950s.
So what is this plane? It
Yeah,
looks cool looking.
it's one of our most popular displays. This is the A-12 Blackbird, and it was a spy plane from the early 1960s. It's made of all titanium, travels 3 times the speed of sound at 80,000 feet, like twice as high as your normal airliner. All the aircraft on this side of the flight deck are international collection. They come from all over the world. I have MiGs and a 10 Dards, a Scimitar, a Kafir from Israel. One of my favorites is my MiG-21 from Poland.
The Tiger?
The Tiger. Yeah, I think it's popular with the kids because it's got this real Tony the Tiger look to him. But so I was able to flex my own artistic muscles, and I hand-painted the Tiger on that myself.
Did?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good job.
Thank you.
So I understand there's a story about how you got this plane?
Yeah, this is a real funny story.
Yeah.
I found it on eBay, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, the gentleman that was selling it bought 2 from the Chinese government, and he used one to fix up the fly, and this was just for spare parts, and he sold it to us, and he put it on eBay. I got it for a real steal.
Well, we're coming up to the captain's bridge, so this is where the Intrepid's commanding officer would be in control of the ship.
Oh, cool.
So during World War II, this whole area was open to the elements, but they closed it in the 50s, so it would be a little bit easier to work up here.
Watch out for the iceberg, Leo!
Yeah, these are talk tubes, and they're located throughout the ship, and it's a way that the guys could talk to people in different parts of the ship. So you could speak into this, and somebody would hear you on the other side. It's very simple, but it works really well.
Now hear this! This is Jessica from Teen Kids News. May I sit in the captain's chair?
Be my guest.
Feel at home. Many say it was an honor to serve on board the USS Intrepid. For me, it was an honor just to visit her and learn about the extraordinary achievements and sacrifices of her crews and pilots.
Jessica, on behalf of the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum, I would like to present you with this Admiral's hat as a souvenir of your visit today.
Oh, thank you. I will wear it with pride. You know, learning about history has never been so much fun. We'll have more Teen Kids News right after this.
You can try to ignore it, but the problem is everywhere. Every instinct says, don't look, but sooner or later we must. And our reaction is only natural. Mice contaminate food and transmit disease. Termites cost billions of dollars in property damage each year. And cockroaches can trigger asthma attacks and spread salmonella. Our reactions are nature's way of telling us pests are bad and can harm us and our loved ones in many different ways. So when something inside of you says you need to protect your family from these pests, trust your instincts. Learn more about how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
I can make an impact in the world. Young people think that we can't make a difference, but sometimes we can make the biggest difference.
You just have to find something that you're passionate about and use your talents and your abilities to volunteer.
Volunteering doesn't have to be a chore.
There is no better feeling than helping somebody else.
You can see one person smile. It can really open up your heart to new things.
See a need and change the world.
Are you a young volunteer making a difference? Apply for the Prudential Spirit of Community Award. Visit spirit.prudential.com.
Whether you call it billiards or pool, the game used to conjure up an image of smoke-filled rooms. But Tyler tells us that image is changing. Tyler?
Mwanza, the game goes back centuries, but you could say it's getting younger. Welcome to the World Pool Billiard Association Junior 9-Ball Championships. Teams from Finland to the Philippines and at least a dozen countries in between are here to pursue their passion, pool.
I love the game, man.
Joshua gets plenty of time to practice. His parents own the local pool hall back home in North Carolina. But to qualify for competitions like this one, he also has to make time for schoolwork.
It really motivates me to get good grades, or I won't be able to play.
In fact, some people, like Landon Shuffett's mom, feel the game itself can help with academics.
There's problem solving and reasoning and thinking ahead,
which transfers into science skills and into daily living skills that children will definitely need as they get older.
And no, it's not just a guy thing. Brittany Bryant from Canada won top honors here and is ready for the big time.
I want to go pro and I can't wait.
Brianna Miller is 13 and among the best in her age group.
I've been playing pool for 5 years and I've gained a lot of confidence doing it.
The Billiards Education Foundation wants more kids to discover the game, so they have a pool in school program to support gym classes and teams.
They have a lot of fun. They get out there and they learn all about life skills, and that takes them throughout their whole life.
For Austin and Braden Murphy, the game has special meaning. Braden competes in the wheelchair division, and that's how Austin got into the game.
I was just a little kid, so I followed him around, so it brought us together.
It's given me a way to be competitive and have something to practice at that I can do with people that aren't in wheelchairs. I'm at the table with my opponent just as if I wasn't in a wheelchair, and so that's good for me.
The teams who play pool at the championship level get to do a lot of traveling. But as we mentioned, they have to keep their grades up if they want to qualify for the competitions. If you want more information, check out the link at teenkidsnews.com. I'm Tyler, and that's sports for this week.
There's something really amazing about history. It happens every day. So while it's great that you're watching this program, you might want to make the news a part of your daily diet. If you read just the front page of a newspaper every day between now and your high school graduation, you'll be a lot more aware of your world than many of your classmates. Knowing what's going on will not only make you a better student, but a better citizen. I'm Natalie, here to help you make the grade.
Coming up, we'll meet 2 young members of the cast of Broadway's The Little Mermaid.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Swimming is all about time, but I'm not the only one that knows what it's like to have life change in a fraction of a second. If your child gets meningococcal meningitis, every second counts. Because although rare, this disease could take a life in just 24 hours. Losing a child would change any parent's life. Speak to your child's healthcare provider about the meningococcal vaccine and join the Voices of Meningitis on Facebook, because your child changes your life just by being in it.
Under the sea, under the sea. What do you enjoy most about being in The Little Mermaid?
I've always loved Little Mermaid. Ariel has always been my favorite princess, and to actually be working with her is a dream come true.
And she's my favorite princess too.
I love doing it. I love what I do, and it's a great experience too with all the people you meet.
Do you still get nervous?
Yep. Usually when there are people that I know on the audience. Not usually any old show.
Theater people have a saying, the show must go on. That's why both Trevor and Brian are at the theater for every performance, just in case the one who's scheduled to perform gets sick at the last minute.
How many steps up is it?
4 flights.
4? Are you kidding?
5 flights. No, 4. This is our clean and neat festival.
Clean and neat. Very clean and neat.
For this performance, it's Trevor's turn to get suited up and Brian's turn to work on his math homework. Next up, makeup.
Are we almost there?
Yeah.
How do you like wearing a wig and having your makeup done?
I think it's fun. After I get my makeup and wig on, I look completely different.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 1 hour call, 1 hour to the top of the show.
It's only an hour before the curtain rises. Time for Trevor to get notes on how he can improve his performance from Associate Director Brian Hill.
Okay. And they took her straight to Ursula, and she traded her voice for her hair red. And if the prince doesn't kiss her...
Even in that excitement, you have to make sure you get every single word.
Got it.
She's in love. Trevor also got a visit from the Associate Choreographer. It's her job to make sure all the dancing is being done correctly.
5, 6, she's in love. She's in love. And you can smile. Nice. Thank you very much. That is fantastic.
As sure as dogfish bites, something's made her lose her
The
head.
Little Mermaid musical has a bunch of new songs that weren't in the movie, including one that showcases Flounder.
She's in love. She's in love. See her hips, how they swish.
Why is She's in Love your favorite number?
I love doing it. I love performing with the Mer sisters, which are Ariel sisters. And to just sing and dance on stage in that theater is just so special.
Sadly, we couldn't get any footage of Trevor on stage, but here's another Flounder performing the big song. To give the impression of moving underwater, a lot of the cast wears Heelys, special shoes with wheels in the back.
We just take a few steps forward and step on our heels, and then we glide forward.
Have you ever fallen while gliding?
I went on stage during the bows, and I fell down, and I didn't notice what had happened, so I kept going, and I fell again, then I fell again, and the whole audience was like,
And I am telling you.
Finally, it's showtime. Before each performance, Trevor does a special ritual with his wrangler, the guy who looks after him backstage.
Can you teach me how to do the handshake?
Sure, okay.
Ma, gas, gas. Hey. We call Flounder.
For those poor unfortunate souls who haven't had a chance to go under the sea, I suggest that you make The Little Mermaid a part of your world. For Teen Kids News, I'm Nicole.
That's it for this week's edition of Teen Kids News. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one.
Here's a shout out to PR Newswire for including Teen Kids News on their big screen in Times Square, New York City. Write to us at info@teenkidsnews.com.
The program you are about to view contains real-life mysteries of several missing people. Just watching may save their lives. Kidnappings. Family abductions. Runaways. Right now, we need your help to locate the many children and adults who are missing